Welcome back to Decoding the Flow, the podcast where we explore the concept of creative consciousness. And today I have a very special guest. The conversation is about intuition, a little bit of visibility. And when I talk about intuition, it's the kind of intuition that you actually have to trust in real time. Trust yourself. Trust that whatever is coming in, you have to act on it. And of course, I have to have my favorite singer. Her name is Tatiana Erse. She's a Brazilian singer and vocal artist whose work explores expression, embodiment, and connection through music. I've known Tatiana for almost 2 decades now, and we almost started our creative journey together here in Los Angeles. You are my very favorite musician. And of course, you have to be the first musician that I have here on the podcast. So, Tachi, can I call you Tachi, right? Tachi, welcome to Decoding the Flow. I'm so happy to have you here.
My God, I can't believe I'm here. Thank you so much. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I was watching our episode that we recorded in your own podcast that you
Yes.
came to my house and we both were just talking for 2 hours. And my goodness, and so many things came to me because it was few years ago, and we are completely different versions of ourselves now.
Completely.
And it is so interesting to watch. And if you can watch, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just go. And I think I posted on my own YouTube channel, and you have it also in your own website, which I will put it on the link and I'll put it on the show notes for you to see how we, even ourselves, we're perceiving ourselves like so different. And I love it. And maybe we can talk about this natural involvement in our creative careers and in life in general. But let's just start with your career before we go into the theme of this conversation, which is intuition. What led you to pursuing your creative path?
Amiga, I didn't choose this. It chose me. I was just born into the world singing. I have little films from, when I was a kid. My dad was always filming and I was always singing. And it was a thing my family always did. My family was like, if the camera was on me, I was asked to sing. And it's funny to look at that now and be like, why do you guys always ask me to sing? And my mom said, because you were singing all the time. So it was just natural for us to go like, okay, now you're on camera, go ahead and do your thing. And so I just really followed what was already in me and I went with what spoke to me. And if I wasn't going to be a singer, I don't know what I was. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I love what I do. It's me. I live in it.
Yeah, and that's one of the core principles of what I call creative consciousness. And it is when you live by creation and not reaction to life. And also, there's another thing that I was journaling this morning, and I think it goes pretty well with what you're talking about, which is integrity. You live in integrity with yourself, with your authentic self. And this is huge because on my book, Decoding the Flow, I talk about living by your creative gifts. And you may think that living by your creative gifts, it's like when you make money out of your creative gifts, which is part of it. But most importantly, when you live in integrity with who you are.
Well, definitely. Sometimes I think about the universe all the time. I think about the universe and how vast this is, right? It's like you can't even really think about the universe because it's so vast. And then I think about my life. And then I think about these maybe 70, 80 years I'm going to be here. And then I think about like, why am I here? And I'm here to be happy, whatever it is that means. It's different for you. It's different for everyone. I think it's important for us to go back all the time when we feel lost and ask ourselves what makes me happy and what fulfills me. What is my purpose in this world? My legacy, I believe, is going to be to leave people every night with a better soul, a better feeling in their hearts, regardless of what it is. Maybe they leave the show sadder than they came, but sometimes you listen to music to feel more of what you're already feeling. So if you're sad, you want to listen to sad songs so you can soak in the sadness, it's part of it. And if you're happy, you want to listen to happy music so you're even happier, right? So I'm just a vessel to deliver what you need, in music. And at the same time, I fulfill my needs and my well, and it's an exchange. I don't know.
This this is so beautiful and this is so perfectly put. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. So, we're saying that you were born to be a singer and you came like just between you and me. It's been 2 decades and I've been following your journey since the very beginning. What were the Tatiana when you were starting out and the Tatiana now with the level of success that you have? Who is the Tatiana that you had to become to achieve the things that you achieved today?
Well, when I started in this business, it wasn't a business. It was something I loved doing. And then I had the opportunity to meet some people that told me, listen, why don't you try this for like a year or two for real and see if you like it? Because initially I thought I was going to be a doctor because doctors make money, right?
Mm.
And I was like, but I'm not, that's not where my head is at. I'm not interested in this stuff. It's cool in its own thing. My sister is a doctor, so I'm like, and I have a lot of doctors in the family, and it was just something that was like culturally spelled on me. These are the things you do, and you be successful this way. Awesome. This is great. Beautiful. It's just, it was not me. And I tried. I went to school for like 2 years in Brazil, and I was miserable, and I never thought music was a thing that I was going to be able to do. So when I moved here, I met some people and they're like, you should give it a try. And I was like, really? And I'm like, well, I have to learn English before I go to the university here. So I'm just going to give it a try. And that was the beginning of everything. I never looked back. I never went back to school, to med school. So I started as just for fun, and then I would write songs for fun. So everything started really light. I didn't think in the future. I didn't think about the internet. It was different then too. You didn't really rely solely on your followers and having numbers and building a profile so people could take you seriously, right? Which I usually, right now, I do. And it was just for fun. And then when things started growing on its own, like organically, I started taking vocal lessons because I was like, you know what? I need to be better at this because I really love this and I think I can be better. And I met this incredible vocal coach, Danny Armstrong. She's amazing. And then we studied together for like 5 years. And so then, in between these 5 years that I was studying with my vocal coach, I started getting a lot more serious about it. And then I really started putting a band together. And then I started having plans to record music. And then, because I needed to leave a print. It didn't matter how many shows I did playing Fleetwood Mac, playing other people's music, because in the end of the night, people would come to me and ask, but do you have your own stuff? And I did have my own stuff. I had a bunch of unfinished songs. Then I understood that I needed to start leaving a print of who Tatiana was, and be more serious if I really wanted to see this career go 50 years from now, right? Instead of just going to my gigs, getting paid, and going home. So that's where it all started to become a business too. So it started as a fun thing, and then I created some love for it, some professional love for it. And I was like, wow, this thing actually really works. And I am one of the lucky ones that I actually get to live through my music. So I pay my rent, playing shows. That's my livelihood. So I am forever grateful for all the people that give me jobs. It is a very hard job, but like I said, it's the only job I want to do. From the Tatiana that started with just having some fun, and then the Tatiana in the middle that started like honing on recording and songwriting and getting a band together and having better shows and making connections, because having a network is just as important as being really good. Sometimes people have the network and they're not as good, and they're playing huge festivals and they're doing this amazing thing. Everything has a place in this business. And then the Tatiana today is the one that sees music business as a business, but I have to remind myself all the time that I love what I do. And these things don't really come into place. The business is not part of the performance. The performance is purely the flow. The performance is just, I do all the work before that. And then when I'm on stage, I'm just having fun.
How do you separate it that? I know that you have to, when you step on the stage, that's when you have to be you, stop performing and performing for yourself first, but also for the public. And it comes along the intuition that we're going to touch into that right now. But how do you separate it, the business side, and when you have to show it up truly as you?
Therapy. um,
I love that's the best answer ever.
I used to be one person. I used to be Tatiana Erse all the time. So
Mm.
I was the business person, the artist, the musician, the Tatiana Erse. And then with therapy about like 2 years ago, we've been working on the separation. Okay, because I was having a problem with living outside of the stage happy, because all my identity was enlaced in the Tatiana Erse. So the Tatiana Pinolato Erse, everyday Tatiana, was not important, right, in my head. She didn't have
Wow.
space in my life. She was not a thing. So I lived in my creative self all the time, which was really hard. So with therapy, I understood that life is like a pizza and it has slices. And we don't have to be in that one slice all the time. For example, you're going through a heartbreak. It's just a slice of your life. You don't have to live the whole pizza in the sadness of a heartbreak all day long. Just leave that slice there for the day and, leave it there. When you're ready to deal with it a little bit, then you go back to it and you nibble on it, But there's the other part of life too. There's other things. It was just this hyper focus on my career that led to me abandoning myself. And what that brought to me was unhappiness, stress, pressure. And then I hit a wall, and then I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to sing anymore. I didn't want to perform because it was just like such a sad place to come out of. I wanted to be there all the time, but being there all the time it's not healthy. So besides therapy, it was just the understanding that there are other things in life and just maturing as a person, but it takes time.
Yeah, the pizza analogy, it's fascinating. And
Yeah,
it's
it was my
so
therapist.
true. It's like you said, I didn't want to live other life. So that is something that I see a lot of visual artists because we who use our gifts and our talents per se to make a living of it. We tie our worth into our work. But where does one start and the other ends? It's probably where this pizza analogy came hand in hand.
And as you know, you love fitness. I love fitness. So I'm the Tatiana Erse that sings. And then in the mornings, I go to the gym and I pump it up, And then there, I'm just that. I forget everything else, but it was a very conscious work that I did to actually tell myself when all these parts were mixed and I couldn't find a separation. It's when I was like, okay, I'm driving right now. There's nothing I can do about this other thing. I'm going to leave it there and I'm going to focus on what I'm about to do right now. And with that exercise, I came conscious of the decisions that I can make every day to have a little bit more of control of myself and my happiness because you can't be the whole pizza all the time.
Before we go deeper, I want to share something with you. There was a time that I never felt like I could fit in. Something in me, this firework of colors that wants to be expressed, but I didn't feel like I had permission to be that person. And the truth is, artists, the creators, the people that I would look up for, they all embody everything that I was. But I never felt like I could be until I realized something was missing. I just needed to be in spaces and around people who helped me dare. Because if you don't dare, you can spend the entire lifetime just thinking that nothing else is possible. And that's why I created the creative flow activation. It's not only a 12-day course program, it's a return to who you are before you start holding yourself back. If there's something inside of you that is ready to come back to life, join the waitlist. You can find the link below, and I'll see you there. Now back to the episode. Oh my gosh, this is so profound. It's so beautiful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Yeah.
for sharing that. What you're saying, what I'm getting it's when you become aware, it's more about living in the present moment, which is the first principle that I talk about creative consciousness is the awareness. We need to be aware. And if you try to become aware and present, that's the only time and the only way that we can find our own flaws, then we can get better.
Yeah.
Talk about becoming aware of your life 24/7. It is not an easy task.
It's unfeasible and it's tiring, and who's to say you have tomorrow? Who's to say you have an hour from now, you know? Like the past is gone, the future is not here yet. We don't know it. All that you really I know it's cheesy to say, but all that you have is right now. Sometimes I also find myself looking at the clock and going, is this show already over? And then I go, man, I could like hit my car on my way home and like, goodbye. You know what? I'm just going to enjoy this moment right now. I'm going to look at my bandmates. I'm going to sing my ass off, you know? Another conscious decision to live in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so beautiful. And let's talk about intuition. There's a really good book that I love from David Hawkins, Power versus Force, which I see it as intuition and control. Let's talk about this, Tatiana, when you start as a hobby, right? For the sake of doing it what you loved, to the Tatiana now, the businesswoman, Tatiana, badass singer. How do you know when intuition is coming online, or how do you differentiate from control or
I
power?
think that back in the day, I thought that things were coming to me, that I'm going to be good enough and I'm going to look cute and I'm just going to, it's going to happen because, you know, I feel like it will. My intuition says I should get these things. Life passed. These things did not come because I didn't go after them. And it was the realization that I had to put the work and make it happen that made things happen. So my intuition was always that I was good enough to do this, but then combined with the hard work later, the intuition was just the spark that made everything happen. And today I use my intuition for business, for dealing with musicians, for dealing with bookings and another slice of my life, intuition with my love life and my friendships and my family and my financial situation and the place that I go and that I live. I trust my intuition a lot, and it's usually right too. And you don't see it until it's past, until it's gone. A couple of years go by and you're like, oh my gosh, I always knew. I always knew that. So I trust my intuition very much so.
How do you work with your intuition when you're writing songs? I like to call intuition as this hunch that we had all of a sudden. It is the momentum necessary that we need to move forward and act on it. Take a line
you know,
action,
I
because the
think
intuition without the action is just a dream.
yes, yes.
I have
And
a
I
rule that never ignore our hunch.
yes.
Never, never.
Never. Because every time we do, you know what happens. We regret, painfully regret. I think my intuition is it's enmeshed with other things, right? With inspiration. So maybe I call it inspiration, which is a hunch of
Yeah.
something I need to say. So sometimes I'm just having a thought and it's an interesting thought and I've written many songs. So I've learned to catch a phrase that can spark a whole song. So I'll be just thinking like, I don't know, I could just say, would this be enough? And then I could just write a whole song about what things could be, you know? But my
Wow.
my
It's a
my
great
intuition,
technique to solving problems.
yeah, just go for it is what I say. But of course you start learning as a songwriter techniques to write, but it all starts with an intuition of something you have to say. And you might not have the courage to say it to the person you're writing the song about, to their face, but you do write it. So a lot of my songs are confessions of things that I'm thinking, that I'm feeling. And that is my therapy. That is the best way to get it out without me lashing out on someone else or saying things that aren't processed. Yeah. But it's this unprocessed, raw feeling that creates such powerful songs, such truthful songs. They're like, they speak to you so truthfully. You're like, oh my God.
So I love that you use songs to express yourself as just like any other type of artist, which is a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. But it allows also, not allow, but you also have to give yourself permission to become vulnerable,
Yeah.
to be vulnerable, which some people had such a hard time. Even myself, I just started becoming vulnerable, showing up my face when I started this podcast, to be honest. Because
Really?
you can hide yourself in your captions on Instagram, like so easy. And
Yeah.
when I started this podcast, I was like, wait, I'm sharing a lot more about myself than I would ever imagine, even doing this type of interviews, because I want it to be sort of a conversational tone rather than me interviewing you. That is the giving and receiving. They're the same thing.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I feel you. When I did my podcast, it was the same thing. But I'm a person of, public. So I'm like, please give me a microphone. I will talk. But
So
it
if you're
is a conversational thing. It's so much better.
Yeah. So going back to intuition, if somebody feels like this quiet, then they cannot perceive their intuition coming online to them. Do you have any tips how to bring back your intuitions or
Yeah.
inspiration?
Yeah. Start small, like everything. You know, break the goal into 20 pieces, 50 pieces if you have to, right? That's actually a master class that I watched on how to start big things and small things. Okay, I want to start running every day. Man, maybe today I'll just buy shoes, new shoes. Tomorrow I might just like put them by the door. And then the next day I'll just put them around the house and wear them around the house. And I don't know, I'm just getting used to this idea. Same thing. And then eventually you will get out of the door and go, right? Hopefully. But that's the idea. With songwriting, with music, with learning how to play an instrument, how starting music is like you were saying, being vulnerable when writing a song. It's really hard to listen to yourself being angry. It's really hard to hear yourself saying that you wish that person loved you back, right? That you don't feel good enough, that you blah blah blah. It's really hard being truthful even to yourself. So when you write songs like that, maybe if nobody's ever going to hear it, it's just hard to realize the place you've been and being vulnerable with yourself. It starts there. It starts with you having an honest conversation with yourself, because you cannot lie to yourself. You can ask a question to yourself, be like, I don't know, am I jealous about this person? You cannot lie to yourself. You're gonna have, because you already know the answer, right? And that's the music. So if you want to start, you have to first have a conversation. I would say have a conversation with yourself. Who am I? What do I want? Am I okay with letting other people know? Um, if not, write songs that nobody's ever going to hear. Just start. Just grab the guitar. I do that all the time. I grab the guitar and I just spill out stuff. Sometimes I record it, sometimes I don't record it, sometimes something comes up, sometimes nothing really happens. That's okay. It's the exercising of being vulnerable that it's, I think, the first step.
How do you recognize when inspiration is coming through, or maybe it is a reaction that you have into the thing that it is unresolved? A lot of times when we have this instant reaction to something, you want to act right away. Right. So, for example, if you need money for tomorrow and you're going to start doing something, like how do you differentiate inspiration to this reaction fear mode?
Well, when I'm having a hard time with something and I need to, and I start, because I talk by myself all the time. I don't know about you guys, but I'm constantly just having conversations with the ether. And
Me
I
too.
come up, I'm my best friend. I'm like, girl, what do you need today? And then I answer. I think we talked about this before. And then I go like, yeah, but I don't have any money for that. They're like, well, there's other things we can do. What else can we do? I'm the best friend and I'm the friend that is like, nothing is going to work for me. And the other one's like, well, there are other avenues. What can we do? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I love that.
That's it. And so when I am stressed about something and I'm reactive, I will write a song because it's their raw reaction that a lot of people can relate to. It's the songs that are the most raw that people love the most. I love songs that just say things like, and then I grabbed my coffee and oh my God, it was cold again. Can you relate to that? I can relate to that all the time. I don't know. It's the little things. It's the day by day. I don't know if I answered your question, but the reaction is just also part of the flow. It's also part of the songwriting process. It's also part of the inspiration. Grab that frustration and make it into art. Do you ever like feel something and paint it?
I do. I don't paint it on my canvas, but I do have sketches that sometimes I just do like crazy things just
You
to let it
do?
out. And I also write a lot. I write a lot. Sometimes I feel like I write more than I paint.
My gosh, maybe you just need that at that time.
Well, it's just because I have this practice of the morning pages
Yes.
from the artist's way. So every day I write at least 3 pages. So turn that into 10 years of practice. It's a lot of writing.
Oh my gosh. I read that book. I love that book.
It's a really great book. It's a timeless book. It's been on and it's still trending for the past 21 years, 25 years when they launched. Yeah,
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I, I read a few times.
Me too. It's right by my bed. And I should take the writing in the mornings again. I still
It's
take
so good.
myself on dates as
The
part of the
creative
book.
dates. What
Yeah.
what does she call it? Is it creative dates? Something else.
Yeah, just once a week, go and take yourself on a date. Do
You
whatever
have
you
to take
want.
yourself on a date to create something to do something that you've never done before, to be
Yes.
in contact to either creating art or exposing yourself to art. For example, going to a museum, going to an art gallery, or going to a concert.
I'm doing that today. I'm taking myself to a museum right after this.
Really? That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's talk about finding your voice. You said at the beginning that is singing is something that you always knew, but how do you found who Tatiana is?
Sure, after practicing for so many years, since I was a little girl, since practicing a lot of Whitney Houston and Celine Dion. If anybody knows me, they know I love Celine Dion. And Christina Aguilera and all the big singers, right? That's the stuff I was singing. Because this is what I say, because I'm a vocal coach too. So it's what I say. I'm like, okay, do you want to learn how to sing like an amazing singer? Then sing the songs of the singers you love. Let's start copying. So I started as copying technique and tone and notes, long notes, short notes, vibrato, all that beautiful stuff. And with time, in fact, it was Stevie Nicks specifically who was always singing the song differently. She would always change the melodies and stuff. I was like, wow, that's allowed. That is so cool. So then I started applying that into my songs. And today, you cannot ask me to sing a cover song that I'm not going to change it because I honestly don't even remember how the original is because I change it so much. And this is part of my creative process too, because singing a song always the same way is boring. It gets old to me. It's like always eating the same thing every day, right?
Mm,
For 80 years. No thanks. I love music. I love food. It has to be different. So I started just experimenting with new melodies and new ways of singing. And then it clicked that I didn't have to copy technique either. I could just take a song and use and make it the way my voice would sound better on it. How would I sing this if I was singing it? But that was also a conscious decision. I was like, so I feel like I sing from this place, even though they're singing from this place over here. But I'm going to sing over here because this is who I am. This is how I sing. And that slowly started becoming my own voice. I was so lucky to just have heard a lot of music and tried a lot of things and eventually stumbled onto my own thing. And
that is
today,
beautiful.
I'm pretty proud with who I found. I really love it.
That's really cool. And what you're saying, I was actually rereading this book called Still Like an Artist from Austin Kleon. It's a very popular book for visual artists. And what they say, which is just like any singer or cooking, for you to become better, in your craft, you almost have to copy
Technique.
who came before you so you
Yeah.
can learn. But once you start mastering, you don't just copy other artists, you bring your own authentic self to it, your own interpretation to it. And that's still like an artist, because I see some artists just copying other people. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing wrong is when you stop there.
Yes. That's just a part of that process,
It's just part
right?
of the process, but you have to keep exploring
Yes.
in a way for you to find your own voice. That's the only way, is by doing it. You have to do it so much, there will be a time that it's just going to come. And that's what
Yes.
happened to me. I was painting my entire life since I was 10 years, but I was just copying and copying and copying and copying. My entire family has all of these collections. And the first time that I start seeing my own voice to it, it's when I start painting cats. That's when I start using colors. And when I moved to Hermosa Beach and I was like, I'm going to paint South Bay. So I was taking photos from the surroundings and putting my own twist into it. And that was like a whole different world. If you see my paintings today, from even from when I starting out or from 30 years ago, it doesn't even seem it came from me, because it was this all of these years of explorations. And people look at me as like, you have your style, it's easy
Yes.
for you. But it wasn't. It comes easy for me now, but it was 30 years in the making. I'm not saying that you have to spend 30 years in exploration modes, but that's what happened to me. I have to do it and do it in so many ways, using so many different techniques, copying other people who came before me, trying to understand who I was. You first need to understand who you are for you to be
Yeah.
able to be authentic.
Yeah, and life has to happen. I don't know, like artists, I do know artists need to have life happening. We need to feel things, and we need to go back to the canvas and let these things there, and then we need to go back to the stage and try new things. But that's the thing. I think artists are very curious people
Yeah.
naturally, like, right? So we're always trying. I'm always trying new things. I still try new things when I'm singing. But yes, I'm not the same singer as I was 20 years ago. The essence was there. You can listen, you can hear the essence, but it was a much raw place, right? It wasn't like a place where I dominated the skill like I do today. But I still think there are places to go. I still think I'm going to be a different singer in 20 years, for the
Mhm.
better,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. That's the natural involvement. The more you do something, the more it evolves.
I know. And that's what's so fun.
Talk about, but you changed. They say, thank you. That's exactly the point.
Yeah. People say, "Well, but you make these songs sound so unique, so different from the original." I'm like, well, thank you. Maybe they don't
What
mean
I
it as a
really
compliment, but I think it is.
I take as a compliment too. So, I went to see Tachi's concert just a few weeks ago. Then we reconnected. It was such a beautiful, beautiful concert where you share a little bit of Brazilian bossa nova. I've been listening to Brazilian bossa nova and I love it. It's when I finish a project, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's this old Brazilian bossa nova, Marisa Monte, Djavan, Cassia Eller. I love Cassia Eller. So I had such a great, and what I noticed, and I want to talk about it, because what I see between visual artists and musicians, visual artists, a lot of times they hide themselves behind the work. But with musicians, it's a completely opposite. They are so solid knowing who they are, because the first thing that they need to do is be face to face to people. So the visibility wound is almost non-existent for musicians because of the way you express your craft in front of sometimes millions of people. It can be 5 people, can be 100 people, but you're always facing yourself, exposing yourself in your vulnerability. And I think it just takes a lot of you knowing yourself and become so solid in knowing who you are. And there's something that I don't see a lot in visual artists. How did you become so comfortable of being visible?
You said so many amazing things. My mind is going off. Where do I start?
Well,
All right,
thank you.
so I think one that stands out to me is mind games, girl. I play so many mind games with myself on stage. So that night there, because sometimes it feels harder to play for a smaller crowd than it is to play for a bigger crowd because you don't focus on the people really that are there watching in the case that you are nervous. Why do we get nervous? Because maybe you are unprepared, maybe because you're inexperienced, right? And the more you expose yourself on stage, it's almost like that nerve starts getting shaved off a little bit,
Mm.
shaved off, shaved off. You start getting used to dominating how you're feeling and how you're thinking. And then I have little techniques of if I'm nervous, I tap my foot on the floor, and then I just like release energy because I feel like nervousism is just buildup of energy that is trapped and it can't get out. Instead of saying I'm nervous, I say I'm excited. I try to mind game the hell out of myself. And then sometimes I pretend I'm in my friend's house there at that show that you came at the studio. I was like, I am just playing for a bunch of my friends and we are at a house party and we're just going to hang out. These are all my friends on stage and they really were. My boyfriend was on stage too, so that was awesome. And I just made myself feel like I was in a safe place and that there was no wrong that I could do. And once you start, everything just smooths out and then you just flow and then you just go with it. I just went on a cruise with my friend Julia, and she was playing there with her band Vixen, one of the bands she plays in. And I just went for fun because she had a place in her cabin, and she took me, and I went. And long story short, I ended up meeting the singer Justin Hawkins for the band, the singer for the band The Darkness. He sings that song, I believe in a thing called love. I believe in a thing called love. Right. And this guy is huge. And I was like, oh my God, it's cool. Whatever. Went go on, did my karaoke. He heard me singing some Celine Dion because Julia had mentioned I like singing Celine Dion. Long story short, again, he asked me to sing with him. He liked it so much, he asked me to sing with him at the show, at the biggest stage in the boat. And he was one of the
That is
biggest bands there.
awesome.
And he asked me to sing a Celine Dion song, The Power of Love. It's on my Instagram. You guys can check it out. But long story short, again, because this is a long story, but I'm trying to make it short. There were about 5,000 people there. Girl, I put my things on my ears, which I had never used before either. It was the first time. I'm with this international famous band singing Celine Dion. It's not an easy song to sing. Girl, I just went in there and I just was in my flow so hard. I was not nervous for a second. I was nervous that I wasn't nervous. I'm like, something is wrong. Maybe I'm about to have a heart attack. I don't know. But then I went and I sang. And then I got out of there and I was in that wave of happiness and ecstasy for like a week. And it was just such an amazing opportunity that I had. And I was prepared for it. And I just went and did it. And I still can't believe that I did it. But not being nervous was a first, especially in that scenario. So I don't know, maybe sometimes you get to a place where you're prepared.
You are listening to Decoding the Flow with me, Drica Lobo. If this conversation is inspiring you, take a moment to follow the show and share it with someone who is ready to live more creatively. You can find more inspiration, art, and behind the scenes stories at dricalobo.com or my Instagram at Drica Lobo Art. Now, let's take a deep breath and get back to the flow. Sorry to interrupt your podcast, but I just want to let you know that this is the last few days that you can get a copy of the first edition of my book, Decoding the Flow. I wrote this book back in 2020, and I have to tell you that this book not only changed my entire life, but it changed the lives of so many creatives and artists. You can read the reviews on Amazon, but this book, we decided we are going to discontinuing selling this book only because I am in the middle of writing the second edition. But the reason I want you to get a copy of this book, because this is the basic needs of living a creative life that is aligned with your soul. This is the beginning of everything. We only have 10 copies of this book, and I'm going to leave the link underneath for you to get direct from my publisher. So it's going to be shipped to you from Culver City at Los Angeles, California. So don't get from Amazon. So get the last 10 copies from my publisher, and I can't wait for you to get your copy. Okay, back to the episode. Yeah. First of all, congratulations. And you said something, preparation, which is very important.
Yeah.
But also there's something else right there, which is the trust in yourself. Because you knew you're ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you prepare.
Because I've been preparing for 40 years. Yes.
And they say like, oh, she's so lucky. But lucky it's when the preparation meets the opportunity.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
You could hide yourself and say, oh, no, thank you. But also another thing that you may agree or may not, when you said that you talked to him, you didn't put himself above you. You
No.
just treat it as equal.
Yes, yeah.
And that is something that I don't see many people talk about it. But if you put something on the pedestal, you're losing power.
Yeah. And
So
that's
not that
where
you
insecurity comes.
more than the person, but you're equal.
Yeah.
We all are. And I learned this in a really hard way
Oh.
when I had the opportunity to go to France for this artist in residency. And I put this opportunity into a pedestal, so much so that I ended up having the worst in a good way, but it was a very hard thing that I have to go through coming back to it. And even while I was there, because I put
Oh.
above me, I put the experience above me.
Yeah, but even feeling that way is part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have never had that awareness. I would
Oh, yeah, and
never realize,
overcoming.
okay, so we don't put anything or anyone or any opportunity or any amount of money above yourself. I would never come to this realization if it wasn't for that
Yeah.
situation that I had to go through.
And it was a high price to pay, right?
Yeah.
So you learned the first time. It's always like that. These lessons, these life-changing lessons, they never come cheap.
Oh, no, no.
And you're so thankful that they were
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. But the only way that you learn is by going back to it and give some thought and
Yeah.
understanding deep, like why is this happening? Like, what is the lesson here?
That's the curiosity I was talking about, We're so curious to know. Some people can just go through life, and I have some friends that are like that without even like asking why anything. Oh, because that's the way it is. Screw that. I need to know. I need to know because I don't want to go through these again. And I need to know because I'm legitimate curious to know, well, what's going on over there. It's a survival technique.
Yeah. I watched this movie about Fred Mercury on Netflix. I forgot the name. I wrote it down. The name is a Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
It talks about, it's a documentary that talks about Fred Mercury's life, and I cry so much. It was such a beautiful and powerful documentary. It ties into what we were talking about, the visibility and knowing who you are to step into a stage. What are some maybe fears or blockage that a singer have to face if it's not visibility?
Technique, right? And
Mm.
preparation again. I think as a vocalist, if you go on stage knowing that perhaps you don't have your whole voice that day for whatever reason, you get sick, maybe you just traveled a bunch and then you just didn't sleep very well. Maybe you're having acid reflux that day. Maybe you just oversang last night and now you don't have your voice tonight and it's an important show, right? So these things can add to your insecurity to perform the way you can in the level that you can. So now people are going to think I'm not as good as I am. Prove that. That's the first thing. I'm a human being. I'm not an instrumentalist that can play high notes every night. Plus I'm a girl. So when we get in our cycle, our body retains water, so we don't sing as well as we usually do in other days. Plus, we're emotional and the hormones are going. It's a real thing. Some singers like Mariah Carey, they won't even sing that week because their voice is so demanding. So besides not being vocally prepared, maybe you don't trust your bandmates.
Mhm.
Maybe one of them is a weak link and they're always committing mistakes. And then you go insecure. So I think it just laces into insecurity. You're insecure about your voice, insecure about the band. Maybe you're insecure about how much you're really gonna make that night because of, some mistake on the contract. Insecurities. Insecurities.
Mm.
Try to avoid the insecurities and if you have an insecurity with your voice, with your instrument that day, change around. That's the beauty of it. Instead of singing love, just sing the same note, but you don't have to go crazy. I teach my students that all the time. Make it new, make it chill. Okay, tonight I'm going to be chilling, but I'm going to be powerful. I'm going to
Mhm.
hit with the low notes. I'm going to hit in the hard with the low notes, with a different melody. And then the creativity comes because now your brain has to think about new ways of singing that song. And it's so much fun all day.
Listen to this again. I want you to listen to what Tati just say, and you can apply this lesson to every day in our lives. How we gonna show up? We have the power to choose how we gonna show up that day. It can be to the job that you're not happy. It can be for the job that you love, but just that mindset, it's so powerful.
My
Thank
therapist
you.
always says, show up as you are. If you're tired and you're going to meet up with a friend, show up tired. It's going to be okay. If you're super excited, you'll hang out and show up super excited. If you're sad, show up sad. You don't have to be anything else. And if you're meeting the right people at that moment, they should be able, right, to handle that emotion from you. And that's why I've been trying to be a lot more truthful to myself. So if I'm tired, I show up tired. I'm not putting any fake smiles anymore.
And that is something that I think we all do at some level, to have some masks. And that comes from that visibility or from this energetic accessibility that people will see that. And we have this inner fear of judgment if we don't show it up the way that they expect.
Yeah, yeah. I do
But
not
this is
fit the
draining you,
emotion now.
right? Not
Maybe the
you,
other
but I mean the
But maybe
situation.
the other person is tired too. Maybe
Yeah.
the other person is insecure too. So that's where you meet in agreement with how your souls are vibrating that day. I'm even starting to tell my friends and my boyfriend, I'm like, hey, tired today. Well, that's okay. Come, let's just chill then. And if a friend tells me that, I'm like, oh, that's totally cool. Let's just watch a movie then.
Yeah, I love that, especially you as a singer who have to use your whole energy and body and voice. I cannot even imagine. Do you have any rituals that you follow, not only in shows, but the way that you show up every day to have that
Hmm.
level of energy? Because you do concerts sometimes 4, 5 times a week. It's
Yes.
fascinating, and you probably have to train yourself and have some sort of discipline in your day to day. I'd love for you to share with us. Yeah.
Being a musician is a lifestyle. Being a singer is a lifestyle. I have to constantly remember to drink water. I have to be always really hydrated. I have to sleep a lot. I was born to be a singer because nobody likes to sleep more than I do. I get paid for this now. I sleep a lot. So yeah. Oh, but you're off today, Friday. I have Friday off. Let's go out. Let's go see some live music. Cause guys, I have to sleep tonight. I'm like really tired. Finally, I have a Friday off. I'm just gonna stay home. I'm gonna rest. Oh, but you're never off. Let's go out. Yeah, I'm never off, but I have to sing tomorrow, and then I have to sing Sunday, and then I have to sing Monday because I'm going to do a session. And it's not just that day off. I don't live for my days off. So
Mhm.
if I do want to go on a concert or do something with my friends and plan that stuff very well, okay, let's pick a
Yeah.
day where I can sleep in the next day. I'm old. I need to put stuff in my calendar. And as a singer, my voice comes first. It's very annoying because I have to say this to my friends all the time. This place is too loud. I can't go there. Oh my God. I'm talking at a bar with friends or I'm between my shows, between my sets and my breaks, and people are like, what? I'm like, read my lips. I'm not going to scream above the song, whatever's happening here. Read my lips. Okay. Or I just don't tell the stories anymore. I just listen to stories at bars because I'm not gonna, ruin my voice. Right? This is how I make my money. Plus, I'm very cautious with it too. I want to be able to sing for the rest of my life. So if I'm talking really loud and I pop a vein, now I'm out for 2 months, and then I'm gonna need a surgery, and that's gonna leave a scar, and scars are not flexible, so I'm gonna lose a part of my voice. Oh, nightmare, right? So yeah, I have to be a little bit of a diva when it comes to my voice. I have to have really great sound on stage. Yes, my voice is the loudest thing on stage because I don't have a knob to turn it up. It's all in here. And to stay in technique, which creates a healthy way to sing so you can sing forever, then I have to have good sound so I can have a good technique. I know this is like above everybody's head if you're not a singer right now, but besides a lot of sleep and having great technique and just
Protecting
staying
your
at a workout. I work out like 4 or 5 times a week nowadays to stay strong so I can endure these 5 shows a week. So no, you will rarely see me out drinking. I don't smoke anything. I eat my gummies. I love my gummies at night and I go to sleep with them and I have a great night's sleep. I don't drink as nearly as much as we used to. I mean, back in the day,
This
20
was
years
like
ago, right?
10, 15 years ago
Yeah,
that
I
we used to
drink
drink.
like once a month. I don't miss it. I don't care about it anymore. I have other things in my life. If there's a champagne someday that I can drink, pour me one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a daily routine.
That's a beautiful thing. And I think it comes with putting this type of boundaries not only in yourself, but with the people around you that needs to
Yeah.
understand. I think this is really, really important. And if you're not putting boundaries, you should start getting inspired by Tachi's lifestyle. I myself, and I also think this comes with maturity because I just now start putting boundaries in place and some people don't like it.
So
And
they don't like it
they
when you
used
say
to,
no.
because I live in it's such a place where people come to spend the day because I live in Hermosa Beach. I live by the beach. So they used to like, hey, I'm in Hermosa. Let's go do this. And I was like, do you think I don't do anything in my life? You have to
Yeah.
tell me in advance so I can plan concerts. I go not to all of the concerts because I became very sensitive to sounds. I don't enjoy lousy or packed places.
Don't
And
either.
this is and this is something that I just noticed on the past 3 years. I used to go to concerts and do this. Now, if I don't plan, and I only go in 2 concerts a year because it's a lot. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of my body. Like you
Sure.
said, we're getting older, but I think we're getting wiser.
Oh yeah. We're getting better, a little more selective.
You have to put boundaries. Like people, like they just don't make a plan. It's like, come here or expect it that I'm going to be available if you don't
Totally.
give me enough time to prepare.
Another thing for me is come to my dinner party, come to my birthday party. When is it? Is it a Saturday? Forget it. I do not function like the other people. Musicians
Yeah,
work
I'm the
from
same.
Thursday to Sunday. You will rarely, we don't see each other. Musicians don't see, I don't see my friends unless we put it in the calendar because we're constantly working and traveling. And like I'm making plans with Julia right now for 4th of July. Like, can
Yeah.
we please meet up and hang out? Because we're working and musicians work a lot. We work
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Tachi, it's been so wonderful talking to you. Thank you
We
so
could talk for
much. I know, I know. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And I am so grateful to have you here on Decoding the Flow. How does people can listen to your beautiful music and contact you, get in touch with you?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. You are amazing. I'm so proud of you. You look beautiful. Let's hang out. Let's put it in the calendar
We've
for
been
real.
trying to hang out for the past, what, 2 years, 3 years?
Finally, you came to the show, and that wasn't a hangout. We need to meet up.
Yes, I think so. Let's
And
do a dinner. I can do like dinner with a glass of
yeah,
wine. This is
cool.
my type of thing that I can say
Me
yes.
too. Okay. Okay. After we're done here, we'll put it in the calendar. You can find me at TatianaErse.com. That's my website. All of my albums are there. All of my podcasts are there. All of my information's there. My videos, my upcoming shows, my calendar for my shows are there. I am Tati Erse Music on Instagram and Tatiana Erse on Facebook. On Spotify or whatever streaming platform you use, it's just Tatiana Erse. And that's it. I'm just everywhere. I'm actually getting back together. Not getting back together because we didn't ever break up, but the sister and I, my band with Julia Lage, she's
That's
Brazilian too,
wonderful.
bass player. We're going to be playing a few shows now at Project Barling Redondo in June. Just go to my calendar. I think it's June 26th. It's the last Tuesday of the month. We're going to be doing original songs. We're a rock band, two chicks, Blue Martins on guitar. You got to come.
Okay.
It's a ticketed event. It's just $10 to get in, but the money goes all to the artists, which is super cool. But I play every single weekend. So just
Yeah.
go to my calendar, TatianaErse.com, and you find me there.
Yeah, my favorite musician definitely is you. I love you, Tachi. I love your work. I love what you're doing. I love how far you've came. So thank you so much for sharing. And I can wait to have you next time because I know you are studying psychology.
I
We'll
love
talk
this so
more.
much that I'm like, I'm going to become a therapist.
We'll talk more next time that you come to the
Yes.
show. I'll make sure to add all of your information to the show notes.
Thanks.
Go listen to Tachi and leave a comment here with your biggest takeaway. I appreciate it, Tachi. See you next time.
Thank
And if
you.
you are watching this either on YouTube or the podcast, don't forget to leave your 5-star review. That's how this podcast will grow. And if you're listening here until here, it's probably because you are enjoying. So
Yes.
let's share the love.
And subscribe.
Thank you.
Ciao,
Bye.
amiga. Ciao.